Today marks the beginning of our Uniquely West Texas series, and our first stop takes us all the way out to Fort Davis, where a one-of-a-kind fort in Texas still stands. Jonathan Polasic joins us to walk us through the history of the fort, one that's been there since the Civil War. Jonathan.
Hey, Crystal, the town of Fort Davis may only have a population of around 1,000 people, but there is a lot of history packed into the small town, and it starts with the fort itself, Fort Davis. When you think of forts in Texas, what comes to mind? The Alamo, most likely. But tucked away here in West Texas lies another with a storied, unique history.
This is an Indian Wars era army post.
Two forts built in the same area, standing side by side. One no longer standing.
The pre-Civil War Fort Davis was active from 1854 to 1861, and that first fort is located further back in the canyon itself.
Originally built to give shelter from the extreme West Texas elements.
That site was chosen in 1853 in the middle of a blizzard, and that was to provide protection to the soldiers looking for a site to build a fort.
While the other withstood the test of time.
Everything that is standing, that is all post-Civil War, 1867 to 1891.
Soldiers then moved the fort out of the canyon to the location it's been ever since.
When they returned in 1867, it's now a cavalry fort. So they moved to the opening of the Box Canyon to where there's more forage and space for horses and mules and everything else.
Every fort needs a name, and this one became known as Fort Davis, named after Jefferson Davis, the man who later led the Confederacy. The men who were posted at Fort Davis had one job.
Their purpose was to provide and patrol, provide protection and patrol the San Antonio-El Paso Road, which is right behind you. That was the southernmost road to California when gold was discovered.
Perhaps the most important detail about Fort Davis is the group of men stationed there.
Post-Civil War, the fort is reestablished in 1867 by an all-African American regiment known as the Buffalo Soldiers, and it was
Buffalo Soldier.
Today, the fort is near the same as it was in the 1860s, being ran by the Buffalo Soldiers.
These are the names of the Buffalo Soldiers who actually slept in these beds, and this is the greatest representation of what the barracks actually looked like while they were here.
Barracks, commanding officer houses, and even a hospital, all preserved. The stories these walls could tell. Fort Davis is one of a kind, not just in Texas, but also the whole Southwest.
Texas has 38 forts, and we are the only National Historic Site out of all of them. Because again, we don't rebuild any of our structures. So what you see here is where the soldiers really did live.
A small town with a big history.
It's a lot of history. There's a lot of stories to tell out here. As National Park Rangers in general, it's our responsibility to tell as many sides to a story as we can.
For as small as the fort is, no matter how many times you walk the trail or down the halls, there is always a new detail or story unearthed.
We're constantly learning out here. There's always someone new that we haven't discovered, or while our guys are working out here, they might come across an artifact, or they might come across something in the buildings, foundations that we didn't know before.
Perhaps that is the lesson of Fort Davis. History is all around us. It requires us all to slow down and listen. So again, a lot of history in Fort Davis, even all the way out in far west Texas.